That right there is Jeremy Rosado.
Get it.
Come and see. And Jeremy is in the studio with us today. Buddy, how you doing?
Let's go. Good morning, guys. I'm good. How are you guys?
I am
Very
good,
good.
except I already got you shook up because I said I didn't like mac and cheese.
This is insane.
But you don't like potatoes.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, I hate mashed potatoes with like everything I have. So I kind of
so
felt it.
funny.
I'm just trying to figure out mac and cheese. That just feels like a sin.
Well, I'm
You
sorry.
know?
Like you like noodles, you like cheese. What's wrong with it?
Yeah. Do you eat like pasta? Like
Yeah.
I'm not a huge pasta fan.
That's
What
crazy,
is
bro.
happening?
Yeah, this is weird. It's
I know.
okay. Hey, we love you, bro.
I
We
work
still
with
love
this
you.
every day, Jeremy.
First of all, I want to say you look great. You look incredible.
Yes.
Thank you,
Man,
bro.
how much
so
weight have you lost, man?
Dude, thank you for saying that. I think I'm just under 140 pounds down.
Yeah.
My
in a year.
goodness.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
a year and a half. It's kind of crazy. Yeah.
And I have to say, as the woman in the room, you smell great.
Thank you so much.
I got to find out what that is.
Well, I was
That's
going to say
good.
that too, man, because he came in and gave me a hug this morning. I'm like,
Wow.
Jeremy, smelling good.
Thank you, guys.
So this is your first time here being with us in the studio.
yeah.
So a couple of years ago, I had dinner with you, and you just started sharing some of your story, which is amazing. From birth,
Yeah.
you were a miracle child.
Dude, did I get that deep into the
Yeah,
story that day?
yeah.
That's crazy.
All right,
yeah.
break it down. Break it down.
Yeah. And so when I was born, I needed a liver, which is kind of a story I don't think I've ever said on radio anywhere. I was born, needed a liver right away. It wasn't functioning. They were putting me on the transplant list right away. And my mom, she just believed that the God that she served, that gave her promise, wasn't going to just take away her promise before he could speak and talk and walk. And this Pentecostal lady, man, grew up in Brooklyn. And I was born in Brooklyn, raised in Queens. And dude, she just believed her God. She ended up at this like storefront church, like tent revival kind of deal. And where this evangelist, like the whole service, they found out this woman's baby needed a liver, me. And that whole service ended up them like interceding for this woman's baby. She leaves that service. She comes to see me in the hospital, been there for 30 or 45 days, something like that. And on that day, right after the service, she walks into the same NICU that I've been in this whole time. She doesn't see me. And she thought she walked into like the worst possible moment. And the nurse that's been there with her for a month tells her, no, Mama, I actually have some good news. Come with me. Baby's doing well. They could not find the blood work because it wasn't like it is now. It was 33 years ago. It wasn't super like electronic. And they had to rerun it because they lost it. And they didn't want to, whatever the situation was, they rerun the blood work and my liver had regenerated. This day was the day after this service, right? Where like these hundreds of people came together and were believing God for supernatural healing. She goes to the hospital and she's able to take me home like the next day. They run the blood work again and again, and God performed a full miracle. And so, yeah, when I think back of all that God's done, I've got a song on my new album called The Lord is Good that's dedicated to my mom, because if it had not been for Wendy believing God and being at his feet, I know those tears, he caught them, man, at the side of her bed when she was on her knees believing God. If it had not been for my mom, I would not be here. I really believe that her prayer saved my life. I believe that God heard that. And man, I'm so thankful for it. People ask me all the time, you did The Voice, you did American Idol. Why do you do Christian music? Go do pop music. I'm like, I could do pop music. I could be like the sad boy of pop music. I'd be good at it, you know what I mean? But that's not my heart. I have to sing about the God that saved my life before I could speak and sing, because he was breathing life over me. He was speaking over me before I could. And I need people to know that this same God performs miracles today. And so, dude, yeah, it's what a journey it's been in this life. And it gets harder as I get older, but God's been faithful and he's made ways, man. And I love telling people about my Jesus. And I love these songs that the Lord's allowed me to carry. It becomes people's like lifeline, because it's filled with real life of this is what God did and he can do it for you too. So don't you dare give up right now, because he's faithful. You keep holding, you keep believing. It's who he is. It's what he does, man. And so
Yeah.
I'm living, breathing proof, dude.
Jeremy
Wow.
Rosado is with us. So I told you, I told Liz, I said, when Jeremy comes in this morning, joining us here on his radio, I'm going to get him to tell his story, because I just sat at the table,
Open
like
mouth,
my mouth
I
was open up,
yeah.
and he was telling the story. And then just how your parents believed in you. There was a story you told about your dad on the very first like American Idol when it was on, and Kelly Clarkson was crowned the winner.
Yeah.
And what did you say at that point?
Yeah, so we had just moved from New York City to Florida. So I live in Tampa. And my dad, I'm Puerto Rican, so I call my dad Papi. And so I remember I was 10 years old and I was flipping through the channels. I didn't know what American Idol was yet. And I saw literally the moment I put the channel on, it was Ryan Seacrest saying, and the winner of American Idol season or 2002 is Kelly Clarkson. And I went running out the room. I said, Bobby, I don't know what this is, but I'm going to be on this show. And so every year we watched it until I turned 16 and could audition. And my dad was like, my son, we got this. We're going to go. My mom was like, you sure? It's going to be okay. And my dad was like, we got this, my son. We're going to do it. And so my dad took me every year for 5 years. I never made it past the first round of Idol. And I've never had someone believe in this dream of mine the way my father has. Yeah. And I got to honor him at a concert, my album release concert back in July. I'll cry right now. And he was in the front row. He had no idea. And I dedicated a song to him live that I did on The Voice for him. Celine Dion's Because You Love Me. Because if his belief wasn't there, if he wasn't pouring into me since I was little, it's kind of, you have a son, you're expecting him to want to go play football and all these things, right? And I did do that stuff, but I was always a little weird, just a little different. I don't think weird's the right word. I was a little different. And my mother and my father, they poured into me in a way that made it okay to be this and to be here on the radio and to be pursuing this weird dream that like is bigger than life. It was because of them. And so, yeah, I've been honoring my dad and just thanking him for being a hero for me, man. Yeah.
Okay.
And just watching your face when you talk about your family, it's just this glow and this peace that I love to see. Wow. Yeah.
So American Idol, were you about 21 at that point?
No, dude, I was 19.
19, okay, 19. Yeah. But then after American Idol, you kind of stepped away from music for a while. What happened at that point?
Yeah, so right after American Idol, I flew to Nashville and started to try to chase this dream of mine and find, Christian music and find a record deal. And in the middle of that, I kind of have to rewind to make it make sense. My sister lost custody of her daughter, who's my daughter now, biologically my niece, when Jocelyn, my daughter, was 2 years old. And so I've been raising that little girl since I was 13 with my mom, just the two of us. And so I remember the first day we got Jossie. Man, I didn't come here to cry. I can still remember the first night we got this baby. She was 2. She has the most beautiful little curls you've ever seen, the most beautiful dimples. And we got her that first day, and she was having a tantrum. She couldn't understand why she wasn't with her mom. She just kept saying, Mama. And I remember my mom had to work the next day. I'm 13. And I told my mom, go sleep. I'll take care of her. And I remember rocking this baby to sleep. And I just it broke me that this little baby was suffering this way. And I remember telling God, I remember that day vividly, God, if you provide for me when I get older, I'll make sure that she has everything she needs for the rest of her life. She'll never feel like this again. So please provide for me. And so after American Idol and I was doing the music thing, I remember that promise as I'm watching my daughter now, Jocelyn, grow. And she was about to go into middle school. She was in middle school. And I don't know, I stepped away from the music. I put it down and I got a job at a church in Florida, and I moved home and I became a dad full time. And I went essentially before the state and got the parental guardianship signed over. I didn't have to go through full adoption because my sister wasn't going to take her from. It's a long story, but I became Jossie's dad right after that instead of doing the music, and God provided for us, But when I laid the dream down, man, I never thought that the Lord would redeem it and give it back to me, man. Yeah. And so I tell people I've been living in the most redemptive season of my life. It's been the most beautiful 3 years of God giving me back everything and more that was sacrificed. And for my daughter, I would do everything again. There's not a world in which I'm not her dad. She calls me Coco. There's not a world in which I'm not her Coco. And so for her, I would lay everything down again. There's no question. I mean, that's my daughter. But it's been, man, I cry because we're on the other side of that now. Yeah. You know what I mean? When I think back, there was pain and there was struggle. But my God showed up and made ways. Like I said earlier, it's just who I know him to be. Yeah. So that's why these songs carry so much weight, because I'm not singing and writing music about things I've not lived and walked through. Man, I've gone through heavy. I don't know if I can say the words Hell on here. I don't know if you play hard for Hallelujah, but they say that word in there. But anyway, which I love Brandon in that song. I've gone through that kind of crazy, man. Yeah. And I'm sitting here on the other side my God, you did it. You did it and you're still doing it. And so, yeah, come and see what God's done, Yeah. Any proof. He's a miracle worker. And so my daughter now, she's in college.
That's what I was going to ask. How old is she? How's she doing?
She's 22 now. Wow. I'm 33. So it's we're best friends and we're dad and daughter. And so that dynamic is beautiful, man. I can't talk about my kid without crying, because I think about what she should have been like with the cards that life dealt her. And I look at my baby. I was with her yesterday. She's my baby girl. I looked at her yesterday. I'm just looking at this kid. I'm so proud. She works so hard. Man, I'm such a proud papa. Thank you for that.
You are, and we love you're sharing your heart with us because there's parents, there's families, there's people that have been through what you're going, and then when they hear your songs, know the life that you've lived, and when you're talking about what God has done, come and see because He's done it. You're walking proof. So at some point, you decided, hey, I'm going to try this music thing again,
dude,
and you decided. How did you make your way to The Voice?
Yeah, they reached out. And so look at God, right, doing what he does. And this was a setup by God. My life's been a setup. I really believe that. I was on staff at the church. My daughter was about to graduate high school. She's in senior year. I think we're in last semester of school. And I get an email from the production team at The Voice. And they're like, hey, we'd love to put you on our show. And I turned it down. I said, no, thank you. And they reached out again, one of the casting people. His name is Gavin. And he said, hey, man, I think you should do this. I think we should put you in front of the network. And I did it, man. And I remember being like, God, is this what you're doing? Are you giving me another chance at this thing? Like, what are you doing right now? Back then, you couldn't do Idol and The Voice.
Sure.
Now it's cool. You can do both shows. Then it was a weird thing. And I remember when I got the call and I was like, oh, my God, Lord, you're about to give me this thing. And so I wasn't the best singer. I'm not the best singer. But I know I've been gifted by God to do something. I know I can communicate. I know I can make you feel something. And I had a game plan being on this show because I did American Idol. So you know what it's like to be on TV. And when I went on the show, it was like every room I walked into, there was victory already. And not because I was the best, but because my God was before me. There was like footsteps from heaven in every room, dude. And I remember just being like, okay, this is going to work. God's going to do something. And dude, I remember telling the Lord, I want a record deal, Lord. I want a major record deal when I get off this thing. And I want to do Christian music full time. And funny enough, my entertainment lawyer, which if you're in the business, you've got to have one of those. He's been a songwriter for so long. He wrote like Good Morning by Mandisa. He wrote Get Back Up by Toby and Made to Love by Toby. He's got hits on hits. He went to law school in between me doing American Idol and The Voice. And so when I came off The Voice, he says, you want me to be your lawyer? You want me to be your producer? Could you imagine this man that believes in me, that's like my family, could help me find the right record deal, could be in rooms fighting for me. Literally, God's setting everything up. And so, signed my record deal, been on the road. God's been faithful, man. We play 130 shows a year easily, dude. And he's made incredible ways for me. Like, every time they say it won't work because of this, or that, God's done it.
But God.
Jeremy Rosado is our guest today. One other kind of full circle moment there on The Voice. Who was your coach?
Kelly Clarkson.
From that very first time when he walked out and went to his dad and said, Poppy, I want to do this.
Yeah.
And she fought hard for you to do Christian music because she knew that was your heart, right?
Yeah, she did. I remember when I went on the show and I knew I was like, at a certain part of the show, I was going to be on the live shows. I sent them 100 songs that were worship songs and Christian songs. I was like, I don't care who it is. It's like a bunch of Torrin Wells on there, Lauren and all the people. I said, I don't care which song. Just let me worship Jesus on the show. This is what I came here to do. And no, they wouldn't pick a song. And I was like, America kept voting me through and they still didn't give me a Christian song. And I remember talking with Kelly and she was like, what kind of artist are you going to be? And I was like, well, I'm going to be a Christian artist. This is who I'm going to work with. These are the writers I'm going to be in rooms with. She was so impressed. She was like, this makes sense. It's what you're called to do. You're called by God to do this. You're going to tell people about Jesus. Of course. And so I remember she hit up the network and was like, hey, pick a song, pick a Christian song. And the next day I got an email from NBC saying, hey, congrats, you're singing Reckless Love by Corey Hansberry on the show. And I was like, yo, shout out to Kelly Clarkson for loving the Lord too, because she does, and for being such an advocate and a champion for me.
You.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
But again, God gave me favor I didn't even recognize would be there to have stuff like that so that the Christian industry could even know, like, on top of me making sure I told 10 million people about my Jesus, this space that we all work in, we're like, oh man, this guy's going to do Christian music. Who is he? Yeah. And she knew that. It was
she let you be who you are.
Who I am. Yeah. Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah.